Shalom, when I start off swords by giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yoshua, Bashem, Kodash, double honors to the apostle, great Mosan, and honors to brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the real name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. Some street name is Yahweh Shai, and then we pray Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, meaning in, Ha meaning that, and Sham meaning names, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. It's just, we just got a quick, kind of like PSA, if you will, because I was just, think, I'd seen, like, you see clips online get sent, social media stuff and whatever, what have you. You might want to do a video on it, and you may want to be like, oh, let me put the link in, in the description box. Right now, me personally, whenever I share links, I'll always remove the particular parameters, just because I know the purpose of them and what they're doing, right? But there's certain brothers that may have like a personal social media account or whatever, and then when they're sharing that link and then someone's doing a video on it and puts it in the description box, like especially now, if it's someone that doesn't follow you. One thing I know that TikTok does, I believe Instagram I believe does the same thing. It will open up a thing saying, hey, follow, would you call it, XYZ, right? And that's why I'm always just like, just to me personally, that's why I always remove these things. But I understand that it's not something that everyone kind of knows how to do. So there are certain things to look out for in certain in these URLs, right? So I just for brevity, I just asked the robots. I was like, yo, man, show examples. To be fair, they gave a really terrible example in these. But like, this is, what we'd refer to just as, this is a URL, of course, right? But this is what we refer to as like query parameters. And generally everything after the question mark, you can usually kind of like get rid of them, stuff like that. And especially if you're sharing on WhatsApp, like WhatsApp will show you a preview anyway, if the URL is correct. But, everything like, SHT, S for sharing, T for tracking, IG. This is going to be something like IG, Instagram share ID, right? And then that's why, for instance, once again, when you're getting these links being sent to you, you're seeing, hey, follow XYZ person, right? Twitter I know uses T equals. And then TikTok's a really a tricky one. TikTok is a really tricky one. I will show you an example, but of course, like I couldn't really generate any real examples because I've only kind of got I mean, the whole point of this is just to be a bit more private and be a bit more wary of these links. So once again, the robot got it wrong. There are some stuff that Twitter does, right? But most of the time, right, most people use TikTok on a on an app, on a mobile app, and when they're sending a link, the link isn't in this format whatsoever, right? The link is more in this format, right? I don't know what this is, so I mean, it looks like gibberish anyway, right? So what normally happens with TikTok, right, it will go from when you share it, and you can see when you've shared stuff as well, it will be like vm.tiktok.com / and then like a hash, right? It's like a short URL, and then what this does is it then expands into this, right, when you open up the app, which basically makes it a little bit harder to remove these tracking elements from your website. So from what you're sharing. So with TikTok, you have to be like doubly careful. I think the best way, if you did want to share something from TikTok, is to instead of saying share, but to actually, like, when you do the share, you copy the URL, you open it in your web browser, and then when it's open in your web browser, copy the URL from the web browser. So once again, it goes from this and then it expands into that, and then you can just copy it from this in for that bit instead, right? So a lot more a lot more tricky, right, to do. There may be apps for it on on the Play Store, App Store, whatever. and what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, they may be an app, but for websites, if you're on like a desktop, or if you just press the copy, I did find this website called linkcleaner.app, right? And then you just paste in the URL in here, right? And then it will what do you call it? It will expand automatically for you, right? So let me actually just get an example. I'll put some gibberish together, right? This is a video brother just sent as an example, just loading it up, right? So you see it here. In fact, you don't even see it because it does it automatically. But basically, the URL had the YouTube tracking added to it, and then it just gets removed immediately, right? So yeah, I mean, the whole point of this is just being completely aware that these links that we are sharing are does it they do reveal information about your account, and then now as well it's even more so, it's doing a thing where it's saying, hey, follow this person, follow that person. So of course, let's say you're logged in as in say in one of these things as something say truth related, and you're sending that to colleagues, and then it's saying follow such and such person, right? They're going to be like, yo, is this what you're on? And vice versa, right? If you are vice versa, if you are sharing something from your personal account, right, and then you're sharing that onto and you're putting that in the description box, maybe you came across something that will be public for people to just be like, oh, is that who you really are, right? So once again, just to be mindful of these links, and just be very careful when sharing these links. Once again, linkcleaner.app, I'll add it in the description box. And yeah, so as always, Lord, what I was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.